Hey, good morning or good afternoon or good evening to all you out there from all over the world. I don't normally do videos other than the yearly annual report, but for some reason, I'm making a video. And it's almost going to be like a testimonial, I guess, or something. I just read a post that Mark Germain posted, and I'm going to repost it here when I'm done with this. But it just got me to thinking about one of the cool things about running this page for 12, 13 years is that I've gotten to know quite a few of the members in here, either following them online or actually meeting them in person. Mark Germain is one that I have met in person on his travels, and I really appreciate some of the stuff that he posts. But it just reminded me of how cool it is for me to sit back and observe these these various projectors coming in for the first time, learning about this stuff, and kind of watching what they're going through. And as y'all have probably figured out by now, that most projectors everywhere are going through similar situations, trying to live in this generator world and trying to kind of get a handle of what human design is actually trying to teach us. And to be able to watch these people through the years that actually incorporate living this information versus learning this information. And then as the years go by, to be able to just kind of sit back and watch how they progress in this experiment that they're allegedly in. And I've seen many projectors, they get so involved with the data, but they just don't incorporate it into the living it part, which is the basic premise of the whole thing, is that you need to actually live it. Yeah, as projectors, we need to learn a system. We're really good at learning systems, but what I see is that a lot of projectors don't transition into actually learning the system and incorporate it into their living it. And without that part, they, they just stay stuck in trying to live in a system and making decisions with the mind and following the dictates of everybody else that is programmed that mind. And it just doesn't work for them. And I wonder how many of them are the ones that go for all these tangent add-ons that are out there that seem to be more made, that makes it more available to kind of try to allow you to do what you want to do while still in some way or the other following a human design-ish kind of deal. But yeah, but it does seem that the proof is in the pudding. It's like, and the cool thing about following these people for the last 12, 13 years, all these people, as I'm kind of seeing the ones that are integrating, living their human design into their lives, and see where they're at in their lives. It's amazing. And like I said, Mark Germain is one of them. It does seem like he's living a pretty good life. And it's not a life that everybody can live, but it's a life that it sure does seem like he is content with where he's at and what he's doing. And that is just such a cool thing, to be able to be content with where you're at in life, what you're doing, how you're being, if in fact you are being and not just doing for doing sake. Back in the old days, for those that don't know much about me, I wound up figuring out I'm a 6'2" splenic projector, indirect light, cross the dominion. What else? But I was able to figure out in my teens, back in kind of the late 60s, that I just had an awareness of this splenic reaction, which back then I just thought it was tuition and intuition. And I learned early on that I was different, and I was lucky enough to be able to live my life differently than everybody else. I didn't get any static from family about that. I did get static from the military and in school and all that kind of stuff. But even back then, in the mid 70s, I was into karma is what's driving your vehicle, and I used to have people come to me and ask me about what my philosophies were and whatnot, because I was actually living a pretty good life at that time, and people saw that, I guess, and they were kind of drawn to just find out what the hell, how in the hell, and why in the hell I'm living the way I do. And I used a map of the United States and a car. And I used to tell people that you drove your car by your karma. If you love driving on expressways and you were a butthead, you wind up having to be rerouted to the mountains, and yeah, you'd eventually get to the place that you wanted to go, but you weren't having a good time doing it. And same thing if you love mountain driving. It'd be snowed in and you'd have to get on the interstate, and you would still get to the same destination, but you just wouldn't be a happy camper about it. And then as time went on and I got into human design at age, 55, I was able to look back and see how human design pretty much laid out how the ideal was for me to live, and I lived it that way. Holy crap. How in the hell did they know that? How could they? The system just amazed me that it was so consistent for me, that going through the 6 phases at age 27 and 50, I did that. It's like, what? Working indirect light, working nights, indirect light, eating fairly correctly for that PHS. It's like, holy shit. But anyway, once I got into human design, I kind of changed my thought processes. Kind of changed from the car driving around the United States to a sailboat, and I don't remember where in the hell that came through. Ra might have mentioned it somewhere sometime, but it just kind of fit that deal of the sailboat being your vehicle, and depending on how you made decisions, if you made decisions correctly, that sailboat would catch the wind and it would take you along. But then if you're making decisions through your mind, and things just don't go the way that you think that it should go, how you wanted it to go, you lose you lose the wind, and you start fluttering. Yeah, you can fire up the motor, use a lot of energy and try to force your way to get to that destination over there. But if you're making decisions correctly, you just wind up catching the wind. Things get a lot easier as you go. And that's just the cool thing about being able to observe all of our fellow projectors all through the years, to kind of just get an eye and a handle on how their lives have been going. And some of them have been very well at sharing their experiences with us. And it's really, really nice to see projectors that are doing pretty good out there, and that I've to be able to sit and observe the processes they went through, trying to incorporate the data into living the data, and yay, some of us have been able to do that. It's like, holy cow, man, that's wonderful, So anyway, this has just been, I've been kind of rambling on. I'm still drinking coffee, waking up at noon. I was able to retire at age 46, and I still continue that indirect and light kind of schedule, because that's just what my body does. It's just what it does. Anyway, as I ramble on here, I just wanted to kind of share that this information, and it's a lot of information. It gets really deep. But so many, especially those who are just starting, so many miss that little deal of being able to incorporate it into your life, to be able to make decisions correctly according to your strategy and authority. That without that, you're just going to stumble through life doing the crap that you're doing, trying to do the crap that you're doing, getting all pissed off when it doesn't work out for you, when you're letting your mind make the decisions. Those are that's data that other people have programmed you with, and you're just not going to be able to live a really, what I would consider a good life. So many people are out there just frustrated. They're bitter. They're disappointed. They're mad that things aren't going the way they want it to go. Hey, that's the way it is. The basic premise, just make decisions according to your strategy and authority. Cool Hand Luke, get your mind right, you know. The mind is a wonderful tool, but it's not really a decision maker. The body, the vehicle, if you just listen to it, it'll take you to where you're kind of could be destined to be. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, hey, what the hell? I've talked a lot. 15 minutes. Holy shit. I haven't talked this much in years, much less on here. So anyway, hope y'all are doing well. Like I said, Cool Hand Luke, get your mind right. If you don't get your mind right, you're just going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off. All right. I got to drink more coffee and smoke a cigarette and look out the window.